go to new equipment.
Right. But with that being said, you know, all that going one more time.
Okay.
Fairly decent podcast.
Somebody must be running from the police.
That's my drop.
Right.
Fairly decent.
Whoa. We can't talk about police too soon.
Right. Too soon. But anyway,
Shit too real.
welcome everybody. Thank you once again for tuning in to the Fairly Decent Podcast. I'm your host as always, Nigel Jones. Thank you. This is season 2, technically episode 11, but we're gonna say season 2, episode 1. Once again, I'm joined by some of my nearest and dearest. You may know a few of the faces, you may not know a few. So let's go around the horn first. Mr. Wear Brims itself, Taj Crutch.
You already know, they know me. Taj Crutch. You stab them, we grab them. How you doing?
Stab it and grab it.
2K's elite shooting guard from last year, Mr. T-Love.
Shooting guard, but I play scratch. But you know, what's popping? You whip just hopping. Hey, I got options.
Look, if I ever get, he's on mute. I hope he knows this. But if I ever become rich, my personal financial advisor / chef, Seth Matthews.
What's up? How's it going?
And I'm gonna let them introduce our guests. So Taj, I'm gonna let you go first.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a girlfriend online today. Join us for this Fairly Decent Podcast, Olivia Clancy.
Hi.
All right, T-Love, who do you have on the show today?
Man, you know, hailing all the way from Colorado Springs, Colorado. Joseph Simon. She's all the way in Huntsville now. Go ahead and let them know. She's in the building.
And last but not least, Seth Matt.
Yeah, and then last we have the incomparable former captain of the Stingettes, Miss Elaine, graduate of the Alabama State University. Yes.
Hi,
Please.
All right, and with that, like I said, the reason why we are being joined by these panel of lovely ladies, we wanted to start off season 2 with kind of like a battle of the sexes, Venus versus Mars episode. So we're gonna go through our usual topics, current events, whatever the case may be. But we, so we're gonna hear from the other side because a lot of time we have lady listeners, and all the masculinity. We don't get their point of view across sometimes. So wanted to, like I say, just open up this opportunity for some ladies to come on and give a different side of things. So with that, I feel like I ain't talked to or seen a lot of y'all in a minute, probably since the last episode. So how's everybody been?
And everybody's picking up.
It's life been hitting you hard, bro. Consistently, bro.
Right.
Like, we chilling for a few weeks, and then you mess around, and 2020 is real, bro.
It's real.
It's like they knew the podcast was coming back around, man. They gave us some to talk about.
Bro.
Working from home.
It's been hard out here, you know what I'm saying? 2020, like said, it's been real. You know what I'm saying? You have your ups, and then here come the downs here and there, but try to fight through.
Look, man, y'all so rude, man. Why ain't let the ladies go first, man? How y'all been? Like, man, what's been going on with y'all?
Kind of.
Yeah, we so used to it.
Because you asked what's been going on. Like,
I
damn,
know what's been going on.
Like, the way you position that question.
I can agree. The way you had it was like.
Whoa. I was on your side now.
You directed directly to us. Right?
Right.
I haven't talked to some of y'all since the last podcast. Tell me what's going on. I mean, you ain't talked to them in a minute.
Fair enough. I'll take the hit on it. How's the ladies been?
I mean,
Well,
it's been
2020.
constant.
Yeah, it's been like an emotional roller coaster during quarantine and everything. Just, like been trying to like spend time with my loved ones and my boyfriend and everything, but also at the same time, get hit by, getting laid off and everything. So that was, I just feel like I've had so many ups and downs. But for the most part, it's been like a great time for like self-discovery.
For me, it's been like a catch-22, teleworking from home, being in a place where you really have to sit still and resonate with who you are. But for me, the virtual school thing is, and working, that thing is just a lot. Shout out to all the teachers out there. I love y'all. I could never, okay? But yeah, COVID, it has its good side and its bad side, but I mean, you balance, you make it work, you know? You take this opportunity to still be thankful for what you have. It can always be worse, but just maintain, really.
Oh yeah. And it's been a constant for me. I don't think anything has slowed down my way. I mean, I know there's been a difference in the transition with school and stuff, but I got an older kid, so it hadn't affected me as much as I know others and everything.
Did we lose her?
Sound like it.
All right.
Dramatic pause.
right. Hold on. I got you. But all right, so we'll roll right through it. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty much how the year been going. Y'all kind of touched on something, so I guess I use it as a perfect segue for the individuals in the room who have kids. How's things been going, or even if you're going to school yourself, how is the thought about going to school or sending your kids to school physically versus virtual learning, depending on how old they are? Like, how does that resonate with the parents in the room?
I guess I'll speak first. My daughter is 7. She's in the 3rd grade. So from a safety perspective, it's not safe for the children to go back to school. In fact, for the ones who have, a lot of them become sick. A lot of them have contracted the COVID. So of course, from a safety perspective, it is not safe. They're actually making the teachers go back to school. It's not safe for them either. They have children, they have families, they have loved ones too. So just to go back into the world when the actual issue has not been resolved, in my case, I don't like it. And for my daughter, she's 7, she's in 3rd grade. Yes, she understands how to use an iPad for those games and that TikTok, you know, but actually maneuvering through like Schoolology and going through all these courses and uploading documentation and, you know, writing papers or typing papers, it's been a headache because I have to be there right there the whole time. But going back to school, I wouldn't encourage it, not like this. If I have to do what I have to do to make sure she's doing good in school, I'll do that.
Oh, what grade is she in? Okay.
The 3rd.
And they got to write in papers?
Well, I say papers, but it's like, you know, it's like one page, you know, they're typing, you know, so I guess I can't really say they're writing papers, but yeah, I'm here in Madison. It's right outside of Huntsville, one of the best school systems in the state of Alabama. So the students are pretty advanced. So yeah, they're doing geometry now.
Right.
I was gonna ask, like, with kids going to school virtually, is the curriculum is it harder? Like, do they try to make it harder for the kids and then kind of try to speed up their, you know, education or what?
Well, so yes and no. Yes, because like in the morning, they'll have 30 minutes only to do a live session like we're doing, where they're kind of doing interaction, only 30 minutes. They go over like math, English, and now social studies and art or something like that. And so it's up to the child to comprehend during the live. Then once they finish that, go into the Blackboard, what we're used to in college. Go on the Blackboard, define your assignments, you know, having your discussions and, you know, communicating out to the teacher. And it's a lot. It's a lot. So when you're at school, you kind of go from one class to another, or sometimes you stay in the same class and the teacher, you know, teaches. With this, you have to be able to have time management, because no one is saying, hey, it's 8:30, you know, log into this. You know, you don't hear a bell. You don't have these different things. So you have to adapt to time management. You have to be able to comprehend and communicate you can't just raise your hand and say, hey, I got a question. You have to be
check it
able to
out.
know how to email the teacher, set up a Zoom, you know, and so it teaches you more of life skills and being able to adapt to everyday life to me. But as far as curriculum, it's the same, but it's in the same different, it's the same, but it's in a different way.
Okay.
If that makes sense, hopefully it does.
It did.
And to catch roll up, basically the discussion is for the individuals out there who do have kids, and even if you don't, just your opinions on schools opening back up and the emphasis on sending kids back to school versus virtual learning, and just your feelings about virtual learning over physical in class learning.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So I know I got cut off, but I was saying earlier, it hasn't affected me as bad because I have an older kid. He's in high school, so the responsibility for him, you know, was already kind of embossed. It's like, okay, I know I have to do my work. You know, I can sit down, I can pay attention, I can look at, I know how to navigate, you know, using this technology or whatever. I know how to use the system. So it's not as bad for me, but I do feel for, you know, a lot of the people, especially young ladies and, well, parents in general that I know who have younger kids, have multiple younger kids. So I was talking to my son the other day, and they had to take their headphones off, and I'm like, well, what if it was multiple kids in the room who had to learn, and you know they're getting interruptions from your teacher speaking and the next teacher. So I think, you know, it's still some adjustments that need to be made, and some people have to be more understanding, especially since everybody is virtual and don't have the same resources and stuff like that. But again, I feel for the people who have multiple kids and those who still are at work, can't be there with the kids, has to still send the kids off to like parents, grandparents. You know, it's a little stressful, but you know, it's necessary because I don't think they should be at school. It's just not safe out there.
Right.
What they have to
What about
take
you,
the
T?
headphones out for? Like, how was that the instruction?
Hmm?
Why were they instructed to take the headphones off?
They said it was against school policy, like the dress code. Yeah, like can't have
In a virtual setting?
exactly, man. It made no sense. Like I was like, I had to reach out to the teacher, and you know, if I work from home, you know, there are some days when I work from home and I can't have your talking interrupting my conferences or whatever the case may be.
Yeah,
But it made no sense. 0 sense.
yeah, that almost seems like common sense that you can't have the same policies and procedures nowadays that you would if kids were physically at school. That's just, like I said, it's common sense.
Right.
What about you, T? Since you probably have the youngest child in the room.
I have a unique situation. But anyway, yeah, my kid, she's 4, but she actually goes to pre-K. But I think it's only reason why we allow her to do so because she's so young. And they say, like, the younger you are, the least chance you have to catch something like COVID. But I feel like if she was older, I would definitely have her at the house and wouldn't even be a question. But I'm still skeptical about it now, but it is what it is.
Yeah, and like with me not having kids, like I think about from both perspectives. Like I think about like if you're older, of course I probably wouldn't have my kids at school, but with the younger kids, I feel like they're the ones who probably benefit the most from like personal interaction with the teacher versus trying to sit in front of like I said, an iPad or a computer or something, trying to learn something. Because like I think Kaylin said or somebody said that up until this point, they only know iPads and computers and shit as things to play games on.
Right.
So,
oh yeah, then I also have another point. Even in pre-K, they don't have virtual class either. So
Not even
at
an
the
option.
school that you go to, yeah, it's not an option. So
How are they doing it? Since they have to have a certain amount of kids in one class, they got to sit like
yeah, like parents can't even go into school. So you pretty much when you get to the school, you like stay in your car and drop your kid off, and they have their mask on and they walk into the classroom.
So you have
like
to trust that the teachers and everybody are following directions and making sure the kids are wearing the mask and all the stuff like that.
Right. And then I think they don't be around, like all the kids don't be around each other, I don't believe either.
So in the
You
situation,
make 4-year-olds social distance, though, you know?
Or wear masks all day.
Yeah.
No, they definitely don't wear masks out there. I'm pretty sure.
Because you
but-
can't do it for college students either. So I don't know what the age,
Right.
Right.
what the age range you're gonna get it done at.
I was
So-
like, you can't. Grown people don't wear masks these days.
Clearly.
I have my
or,
mask on right
or they wear them wrong.
now.
But that's a whole
So they
nother
come up-
topic.
Cover up their nose, leave their mouth
Wide
not
open.
covered.
Or cover up their mouth and leave their nose.
No,
I do
was-
that. I do that. I do that all the time. I
I
do.
can see you doing that.
Sorry. That's I can't.
That's
My
my
glasses
hair.
get foggy. My glasses.
Just don't wear it.
You skated while you was online, and you skating now. That's crazy.
Look, my question with that, as far as like kids that physically go to school, like are the schools doing any type of like, I guess, COVID testing with the employees that work at the school and stuff like that to try to, I guess, minimize any risk?
I'm hearing they're doing the temperature checks.
You gotta ask bro. Remember, her husband actually works at a school, even though the students are not there, but he physically has to go to school, right?
Yeah, so he's still physically going to school. All of the teachers are going to school, and they're just doing temperatures. And then of course the usual, if you have been around someone, please report, and then they ask you to leave and quarantine and get in touch with people that you may have been in contact with. But even while they're at school, even the kids aren't there, but while the teachers are at school, they're asked to social distance as well. So mainly they're in their own classrooms by themselves. I have a best friend who also teaches in Auburn, and they're in school. The kids had the option to either go to school or do virtual, and they're in school, and they only stay in one classroom as opposed to switching like you would do if you had your normal class periods and stuff. They stay in one classroom, and they're, I guess because maybe 30% of the school is virtual, they have a little bit more room to kind of space out.
So there's more people in the school than at home.
Touche. But there are some kids who are starting to do virtual because at any time they could change from doing physical to virtual. But once they choose virtual, they can't come back physically until January, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's more there.
So they're doing they're doing two quarters, I guess. Virtually.
No, they still got their 9 weeks, but they're just not giving them the option to do physical until, I guess, maybe flu season. But really, when does flu season end? Like,
I don't even know when to start.
Right.
I suppose my brother. I suppose my brother. He goes to UA right now. And, one week they're in class, and then the next week they're virtual from home. So
How's that?
I don't know. It's like 1 week they go to class, I think like Monday, Wednesday, and Friday or something. They inside of the classroom, and then the next following week they do that class online.
Gotcha. You need me to put in a word for K? Don't get at me.
Hey, he said they hitting him up. I don't know yet. We're gonna see if you want to. I'll let him ride it by himself. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say nothing until he bring it to me.
Right. My whole thing with where Mr. just said is so for the ones that are going to school versus the ones that are doing virtual learning, how are the ones, like, are they all being taught at the same time just with a Zoom meeting up, or do they have like a curriculum that they just go and do on their own while the ones who are in class are physically being taught? Like how do they separate the teaching for both, or how they incorporate the teaching for both?
well, see, that's a good question. I don't know the exact specifics. I would have to kind of touch bases with her, but to my understanding, they have a virtual teacher who does math, science, and let's say history, and that virtual I guess liaison just basically makes sure that the instructions that the teacher provided for the kids, I guess they still provide the same instruction for the physical kids that they do for the virtual kids, and they just kind of make sure that they're getting the work done. They follow up with them and see how they're going as far as the pace goes, and things like that. But I don't really know, like, if they're tuning into a video or if they're just kind of on Edgenuity and they have assignments that they have to complete. I'm not sure.
That's tough.
Right.
I wonder how like it's gonna affect like like I wonder if, you know, just hypothetically speaking, if the kids that are in the school actually maybe getting a better education, quote unquote, than the kids who are away, just because of the differences between how they're being taught.
And the only thing that I have on that is, with TJ, like, although everybody is virtual, they are still getting instruction from the teacher
Right.
visually. Like
Right.
they can see the instructor in a Zoom, and they are able to ask questions if they have questions, and then they have allotted times for tutoring and makeup. Like for Park Crossing, they have tutoring and makeup on Thursday and Friday for the last hour. So if they need to ask extra questions or if they need additional help, they're able to get it.
Do you think the students
So is
are
that like a
as focused, I
one-on-one?
guess?
Say that
Answer
again.
that question first.
I was asking, is that like a one-on-one situation?
Well, yes and no. It is a one-on-one situation if you have a specific question and you're asking for like additional guidance, but that hour, technically no. Like if you needed further instruction, then your teacher will schedule some time with you to do a little extra tutoring, because right now they're only going to 12 o'clock. Their day ends at 12. So it's not as if they had the full day and the teacher's like, oh no, my time is up, So.
Do you think the students are still like engaged virtually as they would be in the classroom when it comes to like asking questions and raising their hand and paying attention and stuff?
Definitely
What you've seen
not.
so far?
I
Okay.
think some kids playing the game while they in
I'm
class.
saying, look.
Kids playing the game while they in class.
Are you as engaged working from home as you is from the office?
Paying on 2K.
About the same.
No.
That's bad, then.
I would wonder for the high school students specifically, like, is this environment prepping them more for college because you have to be so much more independent in college? I would assume that this is kind of getting them ready for college, maybe in a different way, better than we were before.
Hopefully, anyway.
So
I do believe so. The tool that they use right now is not like the best.
Yeah.
But it kind of gives you like a feeling of Blackboard. You go to your courses have your assignments. You can go to a tab and see your grades. You can chat, send messages, or whatever. So definitely so.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think that help, like you said, when they go to college, you don't have a teacher saying, hey, not test, but assignment due tomorrow, time to do, you know what I'm saying? You got to really get syllabus and make sure that you on top of your stuff or when your paper is due. So I'm pretty sure they have pressure like that for the high school kids now while they all virtual.
But they cut them a lot of slack because my son already done made up 2 things. And I'm like, bro, it's 2 weeks. You
made up 2 things already?
Look, I'm sick every time. I'm like, I try to turn it in, my computer will not go. I'm making up the types of excuses.
Look,
so one of the toughest things that I've seen that's come out of this is the lack of access that some of the students have. Not having home internet or having to go to
libraries,
a library or a McDonald's or whatever, a virtual bus for Wi-Fi. It definitely shows the discrepancies in different communities that exist. It's pretty tough. So.
Right, that's exactly where I was about to go in because I know someone who teaches up here in Georgia, and she was basically saying just that. She said the flip side of this coin that people don't really discuss or don't talk about, especially with the public school system, is just that the kids who are all about their education, but they don't have the resources to be taught virtually. So you'll see them sitting on the curb outside of McDonald's trying to catch some free Wi-Fi just to be able to do their schoolwork. Or the ones who are, let's say, in a less than desirable household that are more privy to getting in trouble with law enforcement, that's being in school kept them out of trouble. But now that they're virtually learning, now they're not in that school environment. Now they're out doing stuff that they probably shouldn't be doing and are probably more prone to being in violent situations, being locked up, or even being killed. So there's a lot of, like I said, the flip side to this that like a lot of, that probably the people who make decisions don't really factor into all of this as well. But like I said, it's not really something that's a choice because like none of us chose for COVID to be around. So it's not like you have a choice in sending your kids to school or not.
The choices were earlier in the pandemic and they weren't made by us and they were handled like shit. But that's another topic. But
I feel
Definitely another story for another day.
that's another topic.
Enough time to talk about that.
Right.
But real quick though, I was just informed that like most YMCA's, for anybody who has kids, I know in the Montgomery Prattville area, YMCA's are open and they do have Wi-Fi available. So if your kids do need to go to the Y, I mean, you may have to pay a membership fee and stuff like that, but it is available for kids. I'll get more information to you guys. Follow me on Instagram.
Yeah, she's right.
Go ahead and plug it in.
She is right. Kalia was going to do that because the schools here, they provided Chromebooks, lunch, and the little Wi-Fi things. I forget what you call it. Actually,
a hotspot.
Yeah,
they call it. They call it something, but they provided that. But the YMCA here have tutors. It's pretty expensive for us.
Pretty expensive.
About $540 a month.
A month? Oh.
Yeah, $135 a week.
You know what's going on? They were charging all these high prices.
Right.
Well, we have Alabama A&M. We have, these schools up here. So those college students aren't at school. So a lot of them are part of the program. So they're tutoring, they're walking the students through their work. I mean, it's beneficial, but $540. Kalia, you better go in the kitchen.
Look, I'm gonna ask one more question, then we're gonna try to mosey on along to another topic. But for like I said, once again, the people who have kids or who have some type of involvement with the school system, do you guys know? I know that some schools, I don't think all of them are doing it, but I know some schools up here are doing it. But do you know if the schools in your areas are actually still have like their cafeteria staff on payroll and they're sending out lunches to the individual homes for the kids?
Not sending it out, but they'll have like a centralized school that you can pick up. And if you have transportation issues, they'll get it to you. But yeah, it's every day.
That's dope.
That's nice. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that's something because in the middle, it's hard to like. I work from home, and it's hard for me to eat lunch sometimes, even at home, like to stop working, and so I can only imagine like trying to make lunch for a kid or getting that together.
Right.
Like, that's definitely a burden.
You gotta take that break. Work-life balance. Set.
They gonna catch
It's
that
hard.
kid. They gonna catch that kid and be like, I don't eat tuna.
A lot of kids, that's the only time they actually have a nutritional meal of the day is like at school. So, it's definitely good that they're doing that.
Right. That honey bun I used to eat in high school, boy, that was nutritional.
I hate that. I used to hate that pizza though. But go
You
ahead.
get Gatorade every
And
day.
pizza's lit.
I don't like that square pizza they
That
have.
chicken tetrazzini.
I love that square.
With the little frozen peaches. If they
Oh, the frozen
Hey.
pizza jumping. Frozen pizza used to jump. Oh, God.
They used to have a couple straight meals now. Hold on, yeah. We eat
Well,
good.
TJ, he too bougie. He can't just eat a regular ham sandwich. He got to grill it.
Look.
Yeah, you gotta put a little toast.
See, little phone. Back when I in New York, you know what I'm saying? We used to have the
Oh
same.
my God.
Oh my goodness. But in
Where
New
is
York
that?
in 1992.
2 days in New York.
Oh, hey Ty, tell a joke one more time.
And ain't a joke. It's a real life true fact.
I was
Violating me
interested.
right
Can
now.
you finish?
You violate me. Nah, back in the day, you know what I'm saying? We had to come up, eat sandwiches, you know what I'm saying?
He don't even remember going to
Oh
school
my
in New York.
God. So you got sound effects? All right, man.
but you finna say something?
Yeah, how old were you when you left New York, Taj?
We already discussed this. We already
do the math.
What's the next topic, Najee? We already discussed
So
it.
you trying to
That's for him.
put the Da Vinci Code together? But like I
The
said,
streets know me. Well, go ahead.
That's fine.
Moving on to something a little bit more serious. I'm assuming everyone has been bear witness in some way, shape, or form to the issue going on in Wisconsin with Jacob Blake.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
it's ridiculous.
And then the most recent issue that happened yesterday, day before yesterday, with what's the 17-year-old name?
Kyle something, right?
The guy.
Redden something
Yeah.
A 17-year-old boy. That's what
Yeah.
I
we
just
call
say
him.
17-year-old boy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
from Illinois.
That's crazy.
So I guess we can start with the first part with the Jacob Blake thing. So for those who aren't familiar, a couple days ago, I'm not sure exactly what date, but a couple days ago, it was reported that or video started circling the internet because apparently that's the new norm. Which I can't really knock that because, like I said, the videos didn't circle, then we wouldn't know nothing about it, and then
Exactly. And they said
Okay.
that police didn't even have body cameras on.
right, which
They
is
didn't record. We would never know.
which is also an issue. But the video circled the internet of a black male walking to his car and was being chased down by the police, and they proceeded to put 7 bullets in his back, seemingly for nothing. They said that he had a knife in the car, but even with that, he hadn't even made it to the car yet before they just unloaded on him.
How you gonna make that assumption?
Right. Whereas on the flip side, and the thing that, people will try to deflect all day to say that, this wouldn't happen, this would happen with anyone, or this, that, and the third. But it just so happened that a couple days later in the exact same area, a white 17-year-old boy walked down the streets of what is it, Kenosha?
Kenosha. Something like that.
Kenosha.
Wisconsin. We'll just say Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
A city in Wisconsin. And I watched the actual local news footage where they showed that he was greeted by the police. They asked him if he wanted water. They kind of cheered him on. He then proceeded. It wasn't just him; it was him in a group, but that left Illinois and came to Wisconsin with the act or in the pursuit of hunting protesters. But he then proceeded to gun down 2 individuals and injure a third. After which he was running down the street saying that he just killed somebody. He was running towards the police, and instead of the police actually stopping him and detaining him, they told him, "Hey, you with the long rifle, you get away from here, get away from here." And he proceeded to travel back to Illinois, not arrested, not charged with anything, not gunned in the bag, not anything. They just
Scot-free.
let him go.
That's ridiculous.
Crazy. Because he was strapped, whole AR-15 on him.
They see it and they just say, "Hey,"
And then
but this,
go ahead, go ahead.
but Jacob ain't have nothing. You see what
Not
I'm
a
saying? He
single
has
thing.
nothing, nothing, and he's gun. Literally, the police pull
Point
him
blank
on his
range.
tank.
Mm-hmm.
They pull him. They're pulling him and they're shooting him. But this individual has a weapon visible for everyone to see, and you tell him, "Hey, get on out of here,"
And shot somebody.
His mom's an enabler because she drove him down there or drove the group down there or whatever.
But Nigel, you forgot one significant part with Jacob.
Oh yeah,
His children
Was
were in the car.
Three boys, right?
Yeah, right in front of him, witnessed him getting shot. But thank God, Jacob is still alive, which is the part that I know that they hate. Because if you kill somebody, then it's kind of like they can't tell the story. They can't defend themselves in court. Whereas if you shoot somebody with the intention on killing them and they stay alive, then you pretty much fucked. But another thing that I wanted to say as far as like this story goes is I look at this kind of a different way. I look at this as an attempt to stop protests because when you look at the fact that him and the group came to Wisconsin with the intention on killing protesters, and then also the news that came out earlier this week or last week that the state of Tennessee passed a law that will strip the right to vote from people who potentially protest. Like all this shit is just an attempt to stop protests. Basically, I think by its current administration.
Right. It's just a constant attempt to silence us. Like the entire thing about the Tennessee voting. And it's crazy because it not only affects those who want to be heard, but it's also affecting, even the homeless. Because they don't want you to camp out on state property. But that's everywhere that's not private property, basically. So, and the other part of that is, you're not making any adjustments on your end to make places available and funds available to help those in low poverty and to change the system that you have us oppressed in. But you want to, I don't know, I guess just continue to hinder us from doing the things that we have the right to do. And it's insane. And then, as far as Jacob, it's crazy with like 7 bullets to my back. Like, yeah, I can't watch you shoot me. Like, at least let me see you do what you do to me. Don't stab me in my back. Don't shoot me in my back. Like, and then not only was his kids there, but it was people still outside. And this all stemmed from what they suppose or alleged as a domestic violence.
Right.
But I thought they said he was breaking up.
Yeah, they said that he was breaking up the fight.
From what I heard.
And that's the thing. Like, that's still no reason to even bring out guns. Like,
So they said
never justified.
So they said they shot him in the back because they thought he had a knife.
But the knife, they didn't know he had the
the
knife.
car.
Yeah, I don't know their reasoning because once you do something like that,
There is no reasoning.
Yeah.
Easily grab him and apprehend him. Normally, there's 4 or 5 of them out there, right?
That's my point. That's my point. You got 4 or 5. Y'all had the scene under control. Even if somebody say he is reaching for a knife or whatever, you have a gun and y'all can have tasers. Tase them, get it under control, and call it a day. You know what I'm saying? But don't shoot somebody. They quick to reach for their gun instead of their taser.
If I'm not mistaken, he was tased.
He was tased already?
I don't know. I really don't understand how they grabbed his like tank top, grabbed him up from the back, but still like proceeded to shoot him close range, like from the back. There's literally no justification there.
Do we know what brought about the interaction with the police?
There was a phone call made from someone's girlfriend calling the police saying that, I don't know if it was the people he was breaking up, but someone wasn't supposed to be there. Mm-hmm. The police come to intervene. Jacob was supposed to be breaking it up. Again, there's a lot of different stories because the police, they're not giving any story outside of the phone call that was made. But the woman that called, she was uncooperative anyway. So it wasn't much to get out of her. So once they come, it looked like he was outside the whole time. Yeah. The simple fact about it is you're supposed to feel threatened. You're supposed to feel like, okay, somebody has a gun to you. You have to protect yourself. In this particular case, this gentleman is walking away from the scene, being pulled back and being shot. Mm-hmm. And you want to bring up a knife that was found after the fact.
And he never had it in his hand. It's crazy.
But then, like
systematic racism.
He was de-escalating the situation, and as a opportunity to deflect and to try to change the narrative, you search the car and you find a knife and you say, oh well, he had a knife in the car, he was going to get it. You can't predict the future. Yeah. Right. You can't predict the future.
Just like you said though, Najee, like if he didn't make it, that would have been their case. He was grabbing this knife. He was going to stab me. He was trying to kill me. But now we have his story. And not only his story, but I mean, kids don't lie. Those kids saw what was going on.
Right.
Like
if a lot of witnesses out there
too. Right.
Nothing but. And even with the case of the 17-year-old that came and shot the protesters, the sheriff's department, same sheriff's department that was seen on videotape enabling him and allowed him to flee the scene after there were so many eyewitnesses saying that he just killed somebody and he verbally said he killed someone himself. The same sheriff's department was in a, I guess it was the sheriff. He was videotaped talking to the public in the news report the next day, talking about trying to once again deflect and try to give an excuse to say, well, there's a curfew established, and if these individuals, he said, I'm not trying to use this as an excuse, but so if you're not trying to use this as an excuse, why even bring it up?
Right.
But he said there's a curfew in place for the protection of everyone, and I'm not saying this as an excuse, but had they not been out after curfew, this story probably would have went a little differently.
No,
But that
because
MF
he's
was
not a
outside
police.
after curfew too, though. So
Exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
come on now.
Right.
He's from a whole other state,
And they enabled him to do so.
and he said he was coming to protect some businesses or whatever. What them businesses got to do with him?
Exactly. And an AR-15.
Right.
Right. And talking about he want to be a police officer. Yeah. Well,
That's
now we
insane.
see how he feel about a police officer.
So they said he was hired by
You finished very well,
businesses.
sir.
No, he was saying some stuff like basically he was trying to protect the police or some crazy
They
shit.
said it was
you-
businesses, some kind of businesses.
Yeah.
But
But
you live
I
in a
mean,
whole other
Oh,
state. It
that's
has
crap.
nothing to do with you. Any of them businesses there had nothing to do with you.
Say where you at.
And
And
this
what
boy is
made me-
17, a minor.
I mean, we raised that way.
And what
So
made
that's
me
what that-
so upset about it is just hearing people compare that particular incident to, if I'm not mistaken, a young black boy, 12-year-old, who got
Yeah.
shot down and killed, named Tamir.
We're right.
Tamir, and it's like he had a toy gun. He was out there playing, and nobody was out there. And it took them 2 seconds to kill him or shoot
Right.
him.
And this man.
And
Didn't
I
the
mean,
dude kill 2 white people?
I don't know if he killed him. I know
don't-
he shot him.
No,
Yeah,
2 people died and one person got hurt.
he killed
Were they
2
white?
people.
Okay, he killed. Okay.
I don't know. There's a speculation. I hadn't seen the official report as far as like the people who died, but I've heard that the 2 protesters he actually killed were white, but I don't know if that's been confirmed
Yeah.
or not.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw in an article today that they were, and one of the guys that he killed was like chasing him down, trying to like, of course, like tackle him, or all he had in his hand was a skateboard, and he ended up, of course, shooting him and killing him. And I want to say maybe that was the second person he killed. His name,
Yeah.
I think his first name is Anthony.
Yep. And I think, in all
That's a
honesty,
monster.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and in all honesty, I think the only reason why he was charged so fast is because they were white, the people he killed. I think if they were black, he probably wouldn't have been charged yet.
First of all, I'm mad
I
he
think a
was
lot of
using-
the public uproar about it as well. Like, I think if we don't have things such as video and social media and NBA players protesting, I don't think that happens as quick.
That's
Or
crazy though. That's
or
like
at
blatant
all.
murder though. Like
That's
Yeah, but
sad. It's sad. We're not looking at it from a human race. We're not looking at equality. We're not looking at justice for a whole. Why are we comparing 2 deaths? An innocent person was killed,
right.
period.
Right.
And that goes into, like you were saying, Najee, about Tennessee. Unconstitutional.
Right.
You can't tell me here in America I have freedom and I can't peacefully protest
right.
on state grounds, and I go to jail and my rights to vote are being taken away. This
Yeah,
is systematic racism.
They're making that a Class E felon.
And it's crazy
Felony.
because a lot of the people that's protesting are white. So I don't even understand. Now I don't understand what their motive is anymore.
You
It's
know
a-
what the motive is.
They're white, but they're also liberal.
Well, yeah,
Right.
Democrat and all that junk. So they want Republican. Super
They're
Republican
making
states.
this a real red and blue thing.
Right.
And that's real trash.
Yeah, 'cause it's by any means necessary to keep the current administration in office, they will do so. And like I said, all of this shit to me just stems from him or the current administration enabling these individuals to show their true colors.
Yeah, they said, I think Shannon Sharp, I was watching First Take, whatever. He was saying that, you know how the president, you know, got his short term when he do his run. They said these people like in the police chief and all that stuff like that. They there for like 30 years. He said they should have terms where after 8 years they should be gone. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because on the
That's
state
Congress,
level,
not a jump.
you can do as long as you keep getting reelected, you can stay in office. But it's only on the presidential level where you have a set term.
Correct.
So I mean, like I said, you can't even say it is what it is, because this shit it's crazy. Like this shit, it has to change. Hopefully, we will see change in our lifetime. But like I said, it's crazy.
Yeah, and it's so crazy
Yeah.
that you even made that statement of it is what it is. Like, and that's the mentality a lot of people are starting to have because we're so suppressed. And it's like, do I keep fighting and do I keep, getting killed for the cause? And I wish that, at the same time we had more people who are like the MLKs and the Muhammad and all those things like that. But at the same time, we are getting to this point. It's like, dang, no matter what we do, we in the same spot.
And the crazy thing is, so they get mad. Oh, go ahead.
I hate the term. It is what it is when it comes to this, because, when we watch these videos of Black people being killed, watching Black people, we see that all the time. Watching videos of us being killed and dying is not normal. It's not supposed to be normal. We're not supposed to be numb to that. You can't watch that and say it is what it is. It's traumatizing to me. A lot of times I can't even watch the videos.
Yeah,
America's become desensitized.
Yeah, and then you try to have this conversation with somebody who is a true Republican. Their response is once again to deflect and say, "Well, America is one of the least racist countries in the world."
Or they gonna say he broke the law.
Right. So like you can't. I don't really want to say you can't, but it's really hard to get someone to change their point of views or to get someone to listen when they already have preconceived notions and they're stuck in their ways before you even speak to them.
My biggest go ahead.
No, that was it.
My biggest gripe is, okay, so they see a Black man, they automatically assume that he's up to no good, right? Like a lot of people, they judge a person just for being Black. But when you do the same thing to the police officer, they be like, you can't do that. You can't judge what one police officer did. You can't make it seem like we all do that. But y'all do the same thing on the regular. So that's my biggest thing. Like, how can you steady do this, but when someone does it to you or does it to Blue, you get upset about it?
Because they feel that they can. My question is,
trash.
What can we do? Like, I'm all about, like, at this point, I'm tired of seeing all of the names of these same consistent stories. Only thing changes the name.
Right.
The same thing, people getting killed, innocent Black, beautiful people getting killed every day. What can we do? What can we do?
That's the magic question.
So I would say I don't have the answer, but I have suggestions. So of course the answer is always to vote. But I watched an Instagram video the other day that basically this African American woman was basically talking about Black lives don't matter until Black businesses matter, and her stance behind that was everything you buy, you're feeding money into or enabling a rich white man or rich white woman or some type of Chinese stone or some other demographics wealth. Black businesses, at the end of the day, money talks, and money is where the power lies. So until Black people own 90% of a certain industry, or until Black people have the highest stakes in a certain company or whatever the case may be, that Black people won't matter, because the Black dollar doesn't matter. The Black owner doesn't matter, because she went on to say like the most wealthy, or the most what's the word I'm looking for? I'm gonna say wealthy just because I can't think of the word I want to use, but the most wealthy Black bank owner in America is still less wealthy than the least wealthy Asian bank in America, if that makes sense. So basically saying that even with that accomplishment, it's still not as much as the next ethnic group in America, in the Black community. Like all these different businesses in the hood and that all the Black people shop at and this and the third, none of them are Black owned for the most part. So until Black businesses are a priority and more Black owners and Black CEOs and Black philanthropists are put into positions where they can be decision makers in America, then Black lives probably won't quote unquote matter because they don't have the dollar power to make decisions.
Let me ask
I'm
this.
glad you brought that up.
No, I want to ask this question to everybody. Why do y'all think Black people don't bank Black? You know what I'm saying? Like, why do you feel like Black people don't want to strictly go have their money in Black banks?
I think it's just convenience.
I don't think it's
not that
necessarily.
many of
Yeah,
them.
exactly. I don't think it's necessarily just don't want to. The Black banks don't have the capital that other banks do. So Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Citibank, Discover, all of those banks have national footprint because of the amount of capital that they've been able to have, hundreds of years of head start. That it's almost a microcosm of white America versus Black America and how we have wealth. Like those institutions were given a head start and allowed to flourish and allowed to, continue to thrive, whereas the Black banks were starting behind. And if you're thinking about who their demographic is, their demographics are Black people. If you're talking about a Black bank, we classify something as a Black bank, they're probably lending to Black people and are underrepresented or minority people. There was a talk that I listened to recently that had where the guy said, a guy by the name of Marcus Benjamin, he's a speaker. He said that white people have $13 trillion worth of economic power. Like that's how much money they have. $13 trillion in America. Black people as a whole have $1 trillion. So they have 13 times the amount of wealth and power that we do in money. So it's like it's not even comparable in some respects.
Right.
So I don't think it's the lack of desire. I think it's the lack of, for one thing, access. Like, can you name a Black bank, like in your area, and do they have all of the things that a Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Chase are going to offer you?
They definitely don't have the insurances.
Right. So I would say you still would want to, especially if it's something like a savings account or something like that's easy that can be done. Like we need to put money in Black institutions. Completely agree with that, and be intentional about it. But we also can't lift our racism is not our problem to solve by ourselves because we didn't start it. We can't fix it by ourselves. Like we literally will need white people to be able to fix racism. Like white people are going to have to figure out how they want to help us, where they want to meet us for us to end racism or get to some more normalcy. Because there's some level of power that they're going to have to give up or allow us to take, whatever, however you want to look at that, for that to even be normalized. So,
and there lies the problem. The relinquishing of power.
There lies the problem. Because honestly, I think I've talked about this on the podcast previously. It's like, who's going to want to say, I'm going to like not have my family as well set for the rest of my life. Like I'm going to give up some of my prestige, give up some of my money, give up some of my power, and give this to these people. Like that's a lot to ask of somebody. I'm not saying it shouldn't happen, especially for somebody who felt like I earned this, despite the fact of the privileges I may have had that helped me get there.
Look, you can chalk that up in even like in politics when it comes to like taxes, like people who make more money paying more taxes versus people who make less money paying more taxes.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just America where we value the dollar more than respect and relationships and love, like
life.
Exactly, and we hold the dollar so high on a pedestal that we forget the people who got us there. And not just I was talking about something with a couple of people, and we were just talking about, well, this particular speaker was talking about bread. And I think for me, I think the reason why we're stuck in the places and we don't and Black businesses aren't flourishing like they're supposed to is because it's kind of like a crab in a barrel type mentality. But the speaker was just basically talking about bread and how many different brands of bread there is, and they're all on one aisle, and not one bread brand is bashing the other bread brand. It's just there's a bread for you. And I think if we start having that mentality of, you know, just because the next person is doing what I'm doing, let's support them, because it's enough room for everybody to be wealthy, to succeed, and to grow. And I think we have to provide that room for everybody to grow. And like Shedra was saying, invest in these small Black-owned businesses. I mean, it don't have to be your whole check. It doesn't have to be your entire savings, but at least give them some type of room to grow.
Yeah, and it's not all just about Black people. It's really about trying to find a way to make other ethnicities invest in Black too.
Now, I'll also say to expound on that point a little bit more, excuse me. Even so, as we get into more impactful decision-making roles in our jobs and businesses, also spend with Black businesses as well. So not necessarily just you, the individual, go to the black grocery store or go to the Black restaurant and eat there. So if you have work that needs to be done within your businesses, if you have some contract work, or if you have the ability to be a decision maker in your job, go hire the Black-owned consulting firm. Hire the Black contractor, hire the Black producer. That way you know that your money or the company's money is being spent in a way that you can be proud of. Like, you got to be an advocate. If we're going to get these roles where we have power and authority, we got to continue to be an advocate for ourselves as much as anything.
Right.
And real quick,
stop cutting deals, guys. Like, we always trying to get a deal from the Black man. It's like, bro, you can't spot me. No, hey, Ralph Lauren didn't spot you, did he?
And real quick, I know Taj got to drop off real quick. Do you got any thing you want to say before you drop off?
Oh no, no, I definitely don't really have anything to say. But this is crazy what we're going through in this world, and how we got to raise our kids and families, and how me as a Black man, I'm scared every day going to work, or just getting in my car, because I never know if I'll make it back to the house. Because things that's going on in this world. But I continue to stay prayed up. Make sure I have these conversations with intellectual people, right? Like you, everyone on this panel, because I still need to gain knowledge as well, so I can be able to be prepared if I'm ever in some type of situations. But I just want to thank y'all for having me on the Fairly Decent podcast. I have a hard stop right now, but I hope y'all can continue and shed light on what's going on. All
right.
Deuces. Have a good day.
Love you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Aww.
So cute. But I also feel like another thing that we need to start doing in the, Black community is, as you guys were saying earlier, kind of like uplifting one another, or like if you learn something, don't hold it in, try to share it with everybody. Like, because there's a lot of people out there that they don't want to see the next person make it, which I'm not cool with that. I feel like if you know something, everybody in your circle, if they're interested, should know that same stuff too. You should be trying to figure out ways to help them get to a level that is either higher than yours or at your level, or whatever, however you want to view it. But you should not just let them let them go to the wayside if you can help it. Because a lot of times people, once they make it to a certain level, they're not trying to help those, like how people help them, they're not trying to help the people that need help. So even with like learning about credit, or learning about how to save money, how to take education serious, how to love one another, not hurting each other, valuing each other's life. So it starts, like, a lot of that stuff starts with us. And then if people see us taking that stuff more seriously, hopefully that would help them take it more seriously too. I mean, I'm saying it might not, but at least all those other deaths and stuff, they won't occur so much, like the ones that we can control.
Right.
I was
Like-
gonna say, to go back to when I said what can we do? What solution can we do to make this change? I wanted to bring up like Black Wall Street or segregation. When we was put in positions where we had to grow ourselves, we were so prominent. We were so strong. We were so wealthy to the point where they destroyed all of that. So we have to get back to that one mindset. I think that with slavery and Jim Crow and all this, it's conditioned us to always compare ourselves to the next with our skin tones, where we come from, our hair, even with the natural hair community, you know, we're always comparing ourselves, trying to be better than the next. And that's a part of their plan.
Mm-hmm.
Like everyone said here, once we become unison and know that there is enough for everyone to eat, we'll be so powerful that they can't destroy it.
Right, because some days I want, you know, Nature's Own bread, and some days I want Walmart brand.
Yeah.
I never want a great value.
I was
Love great value.
I was reading an article the other day, and it was talking about how $1 in a white community, $1 circulates in a white community for 30 days. Excuse me, my statistics are wrong, but this is pretty close. $1 in the Asian community will circulate for 14 days. $1 in the Black community will circulate for 7 seconds. So I think, you know, showing statistics like that, we have to be just more intentional about, you know, buying Black, spending dollars, you know, spending our dollar within our community. And like you guys have been saying, like just uplifting each other, like knowing that there's room for all of us to be successful, all of us to grow.
And then also, I would add just two things. One, white, Black, Asian, Indian, whatever. There are bad people in the world in general. So just because whether or not you are white or you are Black, if you come in contact or experience someone of a certain race, whether or not it's your race or a different race, that does wrong in your eyes, don't discourage or don't write off an entire race of individuals just because of one individual's mistake, because a lot of people tend to do that. And then also, especially in the Black community, I would challenge parents to try teaching their kids more than what the schools would teach. So like, you know, schools have their curriculum, they stick to the book, especially when it comes to history and shit like that. I would challenge like parents to make it a point to teach their kids stuff that the schools might not teach. So like stuff like Terrence said, like with credit or like with actual Black history or with like the history of protesting and stuff like that, like stuff that they won't ever hear in school because they don't want you to know about it. And, you know what I'm saying? And with stuff like that, I feel like the Black community will grow as well.
Yeah, and what you're saying there too, as far as the knowledge goes, as far as curriculum, I think even schools should emboss some things like, you know how it's not until college that we get the opportunity to have African-American humanities or something like that. But if they start teaching that sooner and they don't centralize or focus on American history or for us Alabama history or something like that, if they can start weeding in African American history or indigenous, like the only thing we learned was indigenous people, and that was what in maybe 3rd grade we were talking about indigenous people, but we didn't talk about like African American history, and we got like a little spiel because it was Black History Month. But if we can give our kids more knowledge and understanding, they want, and I'm talking about the majority, not the minority race, but the majority won't grow up and learn everything so one-sided, and they won't be oblivious to like the things that we go through and the struggle that we have, and they be like, well, I just didn't know.
Right, because I guarantee that the Asian community and like I said, the Indian community and all those people, they are teaching their kids their heritage and stuff like that.
But the majority
And
probably
I
ain't
think they
rocking with
have
them
to.
either.
I think they have to even more intentionally there, and I think they can more effectively than we can because they know their heritage.
Right. Right. You hit a nail on the point.
On there.
Nail on the head.
But I feel like also with that, as far as like the majority goes, their parents or whatever, their community's gonna have to get better too. Like, so the ones who aren't racist or who enjoy, you know, being around black people, blase, need to educate more of their own people about them if those people had never been around black people, because they formulate their opinion based off something their great grandfather or whatever taught their generations before, and then they just keep on a never-ending circle, even though they never even met a black person before, ever, most of the time. So
yeah, and those are the cases in which they just have extremely one-sided opinion towards black people. The people who actually build relationships and get to know black people on a personal level, those are the ones that kind of work towards killing that stigma in their family. But the ones who never, like you said, never went to a predominantly white school, never had any black people in their neighborhood because they grew up in a predominantly white suburb and went to a predominantly white college and stuff like that. Like they stuck to predominantly white circles. Those are the ones who have preconceived notions of black people. And if there are the type of news shows that they watch and stuff like that, that can also form an opinion for them as well. So they don't have their own opinion to work off.
One of the things I was going to mention earlier, and this is kind of flipping the topic just a little bit, is that one of the things we talk about, Kaylin, this was to your point, putting the black dollar together, being in unison about what we do. One of the opportunities that we have that we then in turn get upset about when somebody else takes advantage of is to buy in black neighborhoods. And I mean like buy damn near in the hood is what I'm saying. Because right now there's hoods in every city we stay in or, you know, from.
Look, and if you ever want to know what a hood is, just find your local Family Dollar. You're in the hood.
Family Dollar and churches, bro.
Yeah.
You're pretty close to the damn hood.
First of all, it's churches over here on the east side.
I ain't say churches.
that's the only churches that
right.
They got the worst chicken too.
Yeah.
But no,
I'm trying to go to the one with the beat up doors and the shot up windows.
Right.
That's the one I want.
Right. But no, so we have the opportunity here. Like if you go on like Zillow or Red, the other real estate, I can't even remember.
Realtor.com.
Trulia.
Yeah. Realtor, Trulia. So those, and you look at the house value of like home values in the hood, like they are affordable. And I think what we do as black people, when we get money, and this is not a judgment, this is just literally seeing trends. Like we'll get the money and we're like, hey, we want to move away from this environment. I can understand why in some respects, like you want to be safer environment, better schools and all of that. There are reasons too. Right. But what happens is if we don't go buy in the hood, white people will. They'll go gentrify it because that's what happens when they kind of move in. And then we upset that, oh, they buying everything up, they gentrifying, and now it kind of compounds itself because the older people or the people that live in the hood that really can't afford to be there, they get pushed out because the property tax value goes up. And now we don't have a hood anymore. There's a disbursement of this beautiful black community that we had at one point that we ourselves did not value because we felt like we didn't want to live there. But somebody else saw value in the hood and completely changed it. So just want to bring that top approach to that.
And then,
I think that actually happened in Montgomery. Cloverdale, which is not the hood, but you know, Cloverdale had a lot of, you know, Caucasian people, and some kind of way they start moving to over there by Pike Road. We start going towards that way. Sweetheart, they coming on back. They're migrating back, you know, so you're right.
And I'm going to tell you, like, for me, I did move from the west side to the east side because of school. Like you said, you know, there are reasons why people migrate and they go to the place because you want to see better for your kids, especially if you have kids. And but the thing is, I think the problem in Montgomery is that there are just too many private schools. And I'm saying this because we can't afford private schools. Most of us can't afford private schools, so we try to migrate to an area where they may be the kids are more calm and they get instruction a little bit better than if I would have stayed on the west side and now my child has to suffer because, you know, Ray J don't want to learn because he know he got to go home and take care of his mama kids because she had to work 2 jobs, which is unfortunate. And it's not necessarily that he doesn't want to learn, it's just his situation.
Tired.
And exactly, he's very tired. And it's like, I can't do this. I don't have the energy. But I think, like I said, with the private schools, if we can kind of knock that out and just make everything a melting pot in a sense, everybody would be so much well off.
I want to say something. Before I moved from Montgomery to Huntsville, I prayed hard. Said in my mind, I said, I feel like I'm running from a problem, you know. So like you were saying, Ramissa, I had to put my daughter in private school. I felt that was best. So I was paying a good amount of money to do that. And so one day I said, you know what, I'm gonna put her in public school. I'm putting her in public school and I'm gonna start volunteering. I'm getting PTA. I'm gonna do everything to be instrumental in these public schools. Y'all, when I did it, I can't even think of the school that we was at over there.
Danley.
What was it? What?
It was Danley, right? Or Dozier?
It's Big Lots by Dozier.
Is that Dozier?
Yeah. And I got a part of the PTA. Y'all, was 3 parents, including myself. I would come, you know, to the school like every Friday, eat with the kids, you know, to try to be impactful, to try to figure out what the problem was. And it's just, even talking to the teacher, it's just like you get to a point where, is there hope? Because guess what? I'm in here talking to these kids, but when they go back to their homes, that may not be their home because, like you said, their mom's not there, or, you know, someone might be on drugs, or they can't afford that, you know. So, so it's like a battle. And so I was like, okay, you know, guess what? We're moving to Huntsville. We're moving here. Let me try to do something here. But it's like a catch-22. You don't know if you want to start off with the parents or the kids.
Yeah. I think that's just to respond. That shit's hard, and that's a hard decision for any parent to make or anybody to make. And I'm not judging anybody for it because I definitely don't have kids to make that to even start to judge or make a decision. But I know that is one of the things that plagues us is everything's compounded. We don't have money, so we got to work multiple jobs. So we're not in our kids' life. We're not able to go to PTA. So there's so many things that compound into the effect of like, hey, now for Black people to get a good school, we have to go to the suburbs and, you know, whatever that looks like. And it's just one of the things that come with being Black in America.
Once
All
again,
that to say, stop killing our Black men.
Please.
right,
I think we
right,
need to also start maybe mentoring more too.
right. Because I mentioned that on our previous episode, whether or not this goes for the ladies as well, whether or not you have acknowledged it or accepted it yet or not, but everyone on this panel is a role model to someone. So I would challenge everybody to embrace that and try to mentor or reach out to mentor the next generation. Also, I plug this a lot and the topic came up again, so I'm gonna plug it again. I challenge y'all to go watch, I don't think it was the most previous episode, it was back before COVID, but watch the episode of The Breakfast Club with Killer Mike, because
That was good.
eloquently talked about this exact topic of private school versus public school. And it was him versus DJ Envy, and they both had great topics about both sides. But
DJ Envy for private school, right?
Private schools, yeah, okay. He was basically boosting up private school with Killer Mike.
But we shouldn't be paying for education. We shouldn't
I guess
have to pay.
His whole stance on it was like that same money, hundreds of thousands of dollars you put into your children going to private school, if you would buy into the community and put that same money into public schools, you not only would you be affording your own kids the education that you're getting from private school, but you also are benefiting the next generation by allowing other people's kids to get that same education.
Yeah.
So like I said, it's a really good lesson. But
I'm in a slippery slope now because I got to make that decision next year. But anyway,
but yeah, so we could go ahead and wrap things up. I don't want to keep y'all too long. I will just end it with the last topic. I ain't gonna spend too much time on it, but is anyone here a Tory Lanez previous fan or a Meg Thee Stallion fan?
I was a Tory fan.
You said was past tense.
I was a Tory fan before.
I definitely need to know the whole situation, but I feel like if it is how they said it is, it's pretty weak. But
yeah, I mean,
I feel like Meg told the whole situation. I don't think there's anything else that Tory needs to say. I really don't want to hear it.
Yes. So for those who are listening that don't know the story, the alleged story as goes was that they were in the car, a conversation that went awry took place. Meg said pulled the car over. She got out the car, proceeded to walk away from the car. Tory then proceeded to grab a gun, shoot in her direction. She got shot in the foot, and then police came. And this was like during the height of like protests and stuff like that. So they were scared when the police came because they killing people left and right, still doing it apparently. And so she withheld the fact that there was a gun in the car because she was scared for everyone, including herself. So the story got painted that some glass broke, and that's what the blood on her foot came from, which in actuality, she's saying now that Tory actually shot her. So, like I say, if that is the case, bruh, I don't know, he killed a great opportunity for himself. And I'm pretty sure he's about to do some major jail time, because I know if an American goes to another country and commits a crime like that, they ain't coming back. They going to jail in that country. So they actually speculation they talking about sending Tory back to Canada, then I guess probably to do jail time there. But so I don't know how the U.S. works with stuff like that, but I know if somebody from the U.S. did some shit like that overseas, they ain't coming back.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. That's real weak. I mean, for any man to inflict any kind of harm on any woman is a bitch move. Right. I ain't cuss all this time, but he a bitch. Like, that's weak as fuck.
No, I mean, it is what it is.
You a sailor mouth over.
But like, come on, man. And then you shot her in the back of the foot. Like, she walking away, and you catch her heel though. Like, she got stitches in her heel, like towards her heel.
I want to believe he wasn't trying to hit her, and it was
it don't matter, bro.
I know. I'm not justifying it, but I'm saying that's why he hit her. That's why she got hit in the foot.
I would say unless she had a gun to his head, threatening to kill him, there's no reason for him to pull a gun on her. And then pull it trigger.
Right. Like, actually pull the trigger. Like, even if you tried to hit the ground around me, bro, you ain't got to make me skip and hop. Just let me go.
Right.
What are you saying? Because I'm not real familiar with everything, but I know I did see Megan Thee Stallion said that she feels so unprotected. It's unfortunate as a black community to have the black man, try to tear down the black woman. That's one thing, but has he said anything? Has there been any sense of accountability? Has there?
Nope.
I mean,
he been all quiet.
Yeah.
I don't think he's been.
The speculation
has he been charged? Has there been any type of
nothing
yet?
There is.
They can't prove it yet. I don't think, right?
To my understanding, but they say his attorneys don't want to. His attorneys say that he'd rather not speak on the situation at this time. So it's everybody's super hush. Right.
It was also saying that like it might be hard for them to prove it since the story was.
No, they said they have an eyewitness.
Oh, is there an eyewitness?
Wasn't there a friend in the car?
I mean, her friend Kelsey was in the car, and then his security guard was driving, I think.
And they did it in a neighborhood, a populated neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's just something I had seen at one point in time. They said even with all that, but
But I mean, like I said,
all they gotta do is
shot in the foot. I mean,
Nah.
I
All
would
he gotta do
not
is just get his
ever.
gun and then get the bullet and see the bullet,
Pretty much
matches
over.
his gun.
Yeah, but I mean, it's unfortunate, like I said, because like I think I was watching Joe Budden podcast, and they were saying like if this was like a high profile white woman or like in Hollywood or something, Tori would have been charged the next day.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think what
Same day.
makes it so disturbing is that the mere fact that people were like joking about it. Like there were some tweets about this
A lot of them.
chick who was saying, yeah, I want to know that my man love me so much that he'll pull a trigger or some bullshit.
Drea.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Oh
Y'all
wow!
said that?
Why would you,
Yeah.
Drea?
Sick.
Yeah.
It's like, why would you even say that? And that's why she was saying that she doesn't get the support. And then I think like 50 Cent made some memes or posted some memes, and he later apologized. It
50
was
Cent
like,
gonna
bro,
say
I didn't know
something
it was
crazy.
for real. Like, I'm sorry.
50 Cent.
And
Yeah.
and that's why she just feels like she's not supported. It's like even with the Rihanna and Chris Brown situation, even though Chris Brown was like, bro, leave me out of this shit. This ain't got nothing to do with me. It's
That was
even with
detrimental,
that
too.
situation, a lot of people are like, well, Rihanna shouldn't put him in a position of where he felt like he had to hit her. Like, nah, bro, it don't
Wow.
matter what kind of
What did
position.
she? I don't even know what she did.
What
to
kind
him.
of feeling?
No one does.
And that was where, like, this is where my question comes in. It's like, are women actually emotionally stronger than men? Because it's like the smallest thing pop y'all off, and it's like,
Whoa.
Yeah.
Let's not use the word y'all.
Yeah.
So y'all so
They can't,
Just
they
say
can't do.
Now
they
we get
can't
into battle of the
have-
sexes.
Look,
Right.
we not
Sarah
have
Woods.
done what they do to us. They cannot
There's
have
abusive
done
women,
what
too.
they do to us. Period.
at all.
End of
And I
story.
think
No,
we are
and
so much-
Meg's first instinct was when the police got there was to protect the black
Right.
man in the car.
Right.
but she can't get
She
that same
can't,
support.
she can't get that reciprocated.
Yeah, because they said as soon as it was over with, he was running to try to get the story covered up to say, oh, it was glass on her foot and this, that, and the third. But I mean,
No sense of accountability.
You want me to
know,
protect you for shooting me? Like, no.
Right. So, Mr. To your point, yes, some women are more emotionally stronger than
Some.
some.
I mean,
I think like
Wow.
men
Okay.
assume
It's
that
not a bad thing.
men assume
but-
that we are supposed to bear all these burdens. I mean, and I
But
do.
it's
I
some
believe
bad
women
women out
are a
there,
lot
too.
more stronger, huh? But
It had to be. It had to be.
You sound like you went to Lanier.
right. Shout out to Hood Dog. I'm
Look, man.
sorry.
look, man, Tory Lanez is 5'2", man. Of course he a little mentally
cares?
unstable.
He's real.
That
He's smarter
still
than
has
you, real,
nothing
man.
to
I was
do
just
with
talking.
it.
Oh yeah, I'm like, who
I was
cares?
just talking.
I think it's been taboo for the black man to have emotions. Anyway, you back in school, if a dude cried or something, man, get joked on so bad. You know, for a
Yeah.
man to say that he's hurt or he's sad, that looks like you're not a masculine man. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Oh, no.
We've done that. I know plenty of times I hear people when their little sons are crying, oh, you ain't nothing but a sis anyway. You know, what you
Right.
You know,
Okay,
like-
it's whack.
You know, so when
That's
it comes to these
emotionally,
situations, when they have to actually have emotion, they don't know how to act. They don't know how to deal with it because they never had an opportunity to.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They always shut up in color and get it done, you know.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
you
I think
sound
that's,
like you in the military now. Shut up in color. Okay.
yeah, but I think that's a
That's the
black
thing
thing.
that I
more than
adore
anything.
about my husband. Like he's very aware of his emotions to the fullest. Like he understands every emotional aspect and every emotional realm, and he's not gonna hide it. Like he might be a bit too emotional because he sometimes like lash out. I'm like, calm down, baby. But I shouldn't even do that because I wouldn't say that if it was a woman. Like I wouldn't say calm down because you should be able to verbally voice. You should be able to voice your feelings about things because that's the only thing or only way any kind of resolution will come into play.
I think you should
And
calm
to
down
Kayla,
before you voice those.
yeah.
I don't know.
Say something that you may or may not mean.
And to Caitlin's point, I think that's a big reason why they say that there's a big
Oh wow.
oh wow there's a big mental health problem in the African American community because of the suppression of feelings as far as like Black man is concerned.
I missed that last thing you said now, Jeff. I was trying to tell Kalia to.
Wow, you just not listening to
Right,
me.
right.
That's crazy.
I know.
I thought we was cool, bro. Nah,
Imagine if I would have not listened to you, how you would have reacted.
right.
You better cut it out.
Okay.
Double standard, bro. I tell you, I was playing.
Okay.
But I was saying, like, to your point, with the whole like guys, especially in the African American community, being taught to like be tough and hide your emotions. I think that's probably, they say that that's a big reason of why like a lot of African American men or just African Americans in general have like mental health problems because they've been taught to suppress those emotions their whole life.
Mm.
Oh yeah, that's
Probably
absolutely
males in general.
true. That's
I
absolutely
think it's probably
true.
males in general.
Yeah.
'Cause,
And
like a
I
lot
feel
of
like,
the. Oh, go ahead.
go ahead. You go ahead.
I remember. I remember. Go ahead.
Oh no, so I was just saying like breaking those cycles of like emotional, well, it's important to break those cycles for men not to feel like they can't show their emotions, because emotional intelligence and awareness is just so important. Like, so things like therapy, like, you know, so often in the Black community, we're like, oh, I don't need therapy. I'll just talk to somebody I know.
What they gonna
Like,
tell
things like
me?
therapy. Right. What they gonna tell me? You know, I don't want to waste my money. Like, things like therapy, we need to, you know, break those cycles and show that that's okay. Like, you don't even have to go to therapy when things are bad. You can go when things are good. You know, like,
Right.
I think,
Talk about it.
you know, yeah, conversations about that need to be, you know, had and spread throughout the community.
For sure.
I definitely think. Yeah.
Well, with that being said, want to go ahead and just, like I said, wrap things up. So do anybody have like any closing thoughts or anything they want to share before we close it out?
I think that it's awesome. Thank you guys for letting, you know, the ladies join you all. Awareness, perception is everything, and everyone has something to bring to the table. So I encourage you all to, you know, bring people on, bring children, you know, that are affected by some of the topics we're talking about. Bring some Caucasians from a different, you know, mindset. You know, start bringing people that can, you know, that specializes in, you know, finances, that can give some, you know, some information, because people are listening. And like you said, we all are mentors. You know, when people look out to us, we got to add value, you know, continue to spread the word, continue to get your thoughts out there. So I love what you guys are doing. I think it's amazing. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
And thanks for having us on. I appreciate that. I just want to say, make sure everyone's registered to vote. Make sure you get out there on voting day so we can make some changes.
True.
Yes,
True,
and
true.
like I was trying to say earlier, let's not look at 2020 as being just so hard. I think we should also look at it as, you know, provision. We need to, like Shedrick Shirt say, protect our energy, and support each other emotionally, financially, in every aspect. Teach our children that they are loved. Let our guys know, our Black brothers, our loved ones, that they are loved, no matter where they are on the totem pole. Support Black businesses. I got these earrings from my Black beautiful bestie, Jessica.
Go ahead, let her name. Go ahead, let her know the name of the company.
LLC.
Okay.
Okay.
Look them up on Instagram.
Right.
And then my husband, he has his company as well, 3TA. He it's called Training Trenches Technique, for any young fellas who want to get in some training, football, defensive line, offensive line. Reach out to him. He also mentors. It is a beautiful individual to look up to because of what he has been through and where he has been and how he is I guess riding through life. So
On the up, right?
oh yeah. But yes, vote. Register to vote. Vote, vote, vote.
My
Sitting.
thought is to be proactive and not reactive. That's all I gotta say.
What about you, Seth?
Definitely echo vote. Buy black, protect black women, protect black men, and continue to listen to the Fairly Decent podcast.
True.
But with that being said, Nigel, you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
what do you have?
wait, we ain't got that yet, bro. Let me get.
No, I was getting to you. I was about to ask you what you got. You know what I'm saying? Somebody got to throw you the oop.
Right. Off the bat, boy. But lastly, I wanna close by saying once again, thank everyone who joined us today. I appreciate it. Love to have y'all on again. And then also I want to kind of like piggyback on what Ramissa said, that 2020 as a whole up to this point, you can name all the negative things that have occurred this year, but there's still a lot of time left in the year to like turn some things around. So you can be the sole individual that makes 2020 a great year for somebody. So just keep that in mind and do the best you can to make it to the end. So with that being said, you know what I'm saying, since Taj ain't here, you know what I'm saying?
Do the honors.
We can let Olivia do the honors. We can,
Oh, my bad. What's up, Olivia? What you got for me?
Yeah. So guys, how did you think today's podcast went?
You know what I'm saying? We're fairly decent, but we'll holler at y'all on the next one. Peace.
Peace.
That was one.
She been listening.